Good morning, everyone. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the daily forecast for all signs. It is for you whenever you see it. It's originally created for February the 14th of 2023. Happy Valentine's Day, right? Today's Valentine's Day, I believe. But it's not solely set for that day. If you're seeing it on a different date and it makes sense to whatever you're dealing with or how you're feeling, by all means utilize the reading. I believe they find it when they're meant to rather than when they're originally intended for. So they can definitely be timeless. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu underneath any of my daily videos. In there is some housekeeping rules, things I want you to think about when utilizing the channel, what decks I'm using, how to contact me on social media to follow me or to book a private reading. Know that I will never solicit you for a reading. And also, easy ways to support the channel. You can do that by hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing to the channel, sharing the video out, or leaving me a question or comment. What else? I will be referring back to the Sunday reading that populates in the lower left-hand corner, and that is the underpinning energy of the week. So it gives us a layer underneath these cards that we're seeing for the day, okay? So just be aware of that, and you can watch that video if you'd like. All right, let me just get these cards shuffled. Starting to feel a little bit better. I woke up this morning and actually went back to bed. My body's still needing a lot of rest, and I'm still producing a fair amount of like coughing and phlegm and grossness, but I feel like I'm getting better, which is a good sign. Alright. As I exhale, I can barely exhale. Okay. So let's see what our card is. You've got to fucking be kidding me. How is this even possible? Excuse my language, guys, but I don't... Mathematically, this is not possible. I shuffled the cards like a ton this morning. I don't understand it. All right, the fountain is back. The fountain is underpinning the first part of this week from the Sunday reading. We've seen this card like 12 times out of 14 days. It's about just being connected to what's going on around us, trying not to be reactive. Oh, sorry, that's my alarm to get up. Trying not to be reactive, trying not to, almost bearing witness to what's going on around us, and then not necessarily adapting, but emerging from that with a new, fresh perspective is the feeling that I'm getting. Every time I look at this light in the center, it feels like there's something yet unknown connected to us that needs to open up, that needs to show itself through either a new perspective, a new way of seeing things, a new way of connecting to the world around us. But it is about being more, adaptable, fluid, letting like our environment indicate to us what is needed and then making our decisions from there, right? Not necessarily that we have to sacrifice a part of ourselves to make the situation fit or the relationship fit, but this is about like being true to ourselves. I kind of, as I'm looking at this card, I'm feeling this or seeing this idea of, how water works its way around stone and can erode stone, even though water, because water is more fluid and obviously softer than stone, but over time it erodes the stone. So to me, it's like if we allow ourselves to just be, even in the face of maybe in an adverse situation or a situation that's not turning out quite the way we thought it would, or maybe it is turning out the way we thought it would, we still allow that situation to indicate to us what like sort of the next right steps are for us, right? That's what I mean by being adaptable. Don't necessarily diminish yourself per se to fit the situation, but how do we key in or connect to the situation in a way that's productive for us or beneficial for us, and that may be different to us than how we would have dealt with it in the past. Does that make sense? So, in other words, remaining calm remaining centered, remaining like in communion with our own sort of internal spiritual voice, because this card is very like sort of cosmic to me. So it's like listening to our higher spiritual voice in whatever we're dealing with this month, and allowing that voice to sort of choose the movements or the steps that we take or the way that we connect with the world around us. And finding our flow is really kind of the feeling that I get from this too, is like finding that synchronistic flow that we need to be in, where we realize we are connected to all of it at once, and it sort of serves us, even if it feels negative to maybe our ego or our 3D perceptions of things. It's actually still serving us in some way, shape, or form, and being aware of that and trying to connect to that higher wisdom. The card from the Healing Mantra deck is Embodying My Soul. I love the green color. And it says, I have a right to be excited. That's kind of interesting. And then the next one is asking for angelic support. So call in spirit today. This is a very, I'm going to say this feels like a very spiritual day with embodying my soul and the fountain and asking angelic spirit in. Let me just see here. Yeah, the fountain was underpinning this. Really interesting. If we cannot get away from this card, I don't understand what is going on. All right, I have a right to be excited. When your soul is embodied, you are grateful to be alive. You are aware of life as a precious opportunity to experience the frequency of your own light through the unique attributes, characteristics, and senses of a person. As your soul becomes embodied, you are elated to be a part of life's cosmic play, no matter how bad things may seem. And that's kind of what I'm talking about with the fountain. The fountain is, even if stuff doesn't feel like it's going our way, there's still a way to connect to it in a way that's positive and flow with it and allow it. It's like, this is like a bigger month-long let go or be dragged message that I'm getting from this fountain card. This mantra is ideal for developing courage, finding your inner voice, and feeling safe in your body. Excuse me, guys. So I feel like we're being asked to connect into our higher self, and also asking for, spirit guides or other outside sources of help through this, asking for angelic support to help us to connect to this higher perspective, this higher vision, to maybe deal with our situations at hand. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad situation or something that is wrong, right? It can be even positive situations that don't necessarily need changing, but how do we connect in and feel, the true joy and gratitude and reach those levels too? That can be going on just as much as us trying to turn a negative into a positive. We can turn a positive into even more positive, right? So keeping that in mind, let's go to the clarifiers. So strange. 6 of Swords. This card is like spooking me at this point. Thank God this is a slow month, or a short month. 7 of Cups. And our good friend, the Death card. Interesting. 6 of Swords is moving to calmer thoughts, calmer waters. The 7 of Cups would indicate confusion emotionally, potentially, making the right choice. And then the Death card is about the situations transforming in a rather profound manner. To me, death is about rebirth more so than the actual death itself, but it's always something that we cannot avoid or we cannot stop the change of, right? It's associated with the sign of Scorpio. To me, I feel like within this death, this change, this transformation, if we reach for a higher perspective or for our highest good, so to speak, through this fountain card, and we just allow things to be as they are, we almost, through the death, we can release the emotional confusion, and quite possibly make the right choice with a clear mind, moving forward in a sense of peace, right? To clearer thoughts, clearer communications, all of that. I feel like all of these cards are kind of working concurrently with one another, or at the same time, if that makes sense, as a situation, relationship, whatever it is we're dealing with, as we allow ourselves to just be in it and sort of connect to it from a higher spiritual perspective and understand that everything serves a purpose. We almost clear away the thoughts, the worries. We deal with the confusion or emotionally that we might be feeling and make that choice, and then allow the transformation to take place, or the death to happen, the relationship or the situation to change in ways that our ego or our 3D self may not want, but ultimately, if we're looking at it from this higher perspective of the fountain and just being and allowing it to transform and embodying our soul, we're allowing it to follow its path as we follow our own. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, guys. Let's go to the grounding stone. And the grounding stone for the day is happiness. And also, I just want to remind you, the grounding stone for the week was spirit. And it's interesting that we have embodying my soul and asking for angelic guidance today. So some of you, if you're dealing with something super hard, because the death card can indicate that at times, like a transformation that just feels bigger than you, that you can't get through, I feel like we certainly can. There might be a little bit of emotional confusion and stress related to it, but the Six of Swords gives me hope that we can, clear our minds, clear our thoughts, clear our communications, and connect in a spiritual way and concentrate on what makes us happy, what brings us pleasure. And if it's a situation that we're trying to change that no longer brings us pleasure, then maybe that situation is no longer meant for us. And coming to terms with that. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. And just allowing that to be, and then flowing forward like the fountain. All right, guys, that's your reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry that we keep seeing this card. I don't know what's going on, but some of you will have to leave me a comment and let me know. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow so that we can see what's changed, if at all. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.